So let's begin the hands-on for the CloudFront Edge function. This time, I'm going to explain how to use the two Edge functions that can be associated with the CloudFront Functions and the Lambda at Edge. And for this hands-on, we will use the static content in the S3 bucket as our origin. First, we will use the CloudFront function to add a response header, and after that, we will perform the simple operation using the Lambda at Edge to write the request URL. Firstly, as preparation, we're going to set up the origin bucket. I have already created the bucket named the CF Edge hands-on. And to create a new one, clicking on the create bucket and select the general purpose and give it the globally unique name and ensure the block all public access is checked and clicking on the create bucket. I'm going to cancel this one. So I will go into the bucket and I'm going to upload the index file. And this index HTML file is very simple. It just contains the text S3 origin content, and we will check this later. So next, go to the CloudFront page and create the new distribution. So I'll give it names like the CF and sample. Since this is the very simple HTML file from the S3, I select a single website as a type and clicking on the next. And I choose the S3 bucket for the CF Edge hands-on S3 bucket. Click on choose and scrolling down. And for the origin access, we use the recommended settings, allow private S3 bucket access to the CloudFront, and this ensures the S3 bucket can only be accessed via the CloudFront. And we will leave this checked, and we will not use the WAF this time, and I will create the distribution. So after a couple of minutes, and the distribution is deployed, and I will copy the domain name and paste it in the browser and add the /index.html, and we can successfully access the index.html file, the S3 origin content. Now if we check the S3 bucket and click on the permission tab, scrolling down to the bucket policy, and you can see the bucket policy was automatically added that allowed access from the CloudFront service. So now that the setup is ready, let's first configure the CloudFront function. Back on the CloudFront function, and click on the function. Now I will create the function, clicking on the create function. Then I will name it, for example, the add response header. Okay, then we will instruct this Cloud function to add the custom header to the response and send it to the viewer. And generally, the CloudFront functions are suited for the lightweight processing compared to the Lambda at Edge. So clicking on the create function. So the function is created, and scrolling down in the function code, I'm gonna copy and paste the code directly in my browser and paste into it. So this is a very simple function which adds a custom header, the X hands-on test with Cloud function. So I'm going to save changes. So now we need to associate this function with our distribution. Clicking on the publish, and then I'll associate it with our distribution. Selecting the distribution, and I'm going to choose the the event as the viewer response, and I'll select the default settings. Okay, and click on the Add Association. And it will take a few minutes for these changes to be reflected in the distribution. So after waiting a few minutes, I go back to the index.html file in my browser. Then I'm going to open the developer tools on the Google Chrome to go to the networking tab. Click on the index.html and scrolling down to the request header. And as you can see, the X hands-on test header is added here. Then as you see, the CloudFront functions are used for the lightweight operation like adding the header, especially when you don't need to modify the response body. So next, let's set up the Lambda Edge. Now I will go to the Lambda function page, and it is crucial that you select the US East North Virginia, the US East 1 region. The CloudFront is the global service, but Lambda Edge function must be created in the US East 1. So I'm going to create the function from the scratch, and I'll name it like rewrite URL Lambda Edge. Okay, and I'm going to choose the runtime for the Node.js, and according to the IAM role, the Lambda execution role, I have already created the Lambda Edge hands-on role with the trust relationship with the Edge Lambda Amazon AWS.com. So for the execution role, you must ensure the role trust relationship includes this one as a principal. If you forget this, if you get the permission error when CloudFront tries to invoke the function. So again, going back to the Lambda function page, I'm going to choose the Lambda Edge hands-on role and clicking on the create function. So scrolling down to the code, I'm going to copy and paste here. So this is the simple function that if the request URL is the page 1 and it rewrites the URI to index.html. So as a result, accessing the page 1 will show the same content as the root. So I'm going to deploy this one. Okay, now we need to associate this Lambda function with our cloud distribution. And you can do this by from the Lambda console, clicking on the action and the deploy to the Lambda Edge, and clicking on the choosing the distribution, and you can deploy from here. Or once you publish the new version and copy the ARN from here, and going back to the CloudFront console to choose the CF sample distribution, and in the behavior tab, and edit the tab. Okay, and scrolling down to the bottom, and firstly, removes the CloudFront function association we added earlier. And this time, for the viewer request event, choose the Lambda Edge, and paste the ARN with the new version. So I'm going to save the changes. Okay, we need to wait a few minutes for this to deploy. And after a few minutes, and I go back to my browser, and if I enter the distribution domain followed by the page 1, the Lambda function rewrites the URL, and it correctly displays the S3 origin content from the index.html. If I enter a different one. For example, the page 2, I get an access denied error. So generally, the Lambda at Edge is suited for the heavier and more versatile processing than CloudFront function, such as modifying the request body or integrating with the external API. So this concludes the hands-on, and we no longer need these resources. And the firstly, you must disable and delete the CloudFront functions. And I'm gonna disable one and save changes. And after the distribution is deleted, you can delete the Lambda function, and both Lambda at Edge and the CloudFront function. And you cannot delete the Lambda function while they are still associated with the distribution. So this concludes the explanation.